Morning guys, Rohanna here and Lil Mrs. Welcome back to Alignmental. Today gonna do part 2 of the spinal mobility. I'm just doing part 2s of every video that I started with apparently. Hopefully the dishwasher doesn't start beeping halfway through the video. Hello Mrs. So yeah, this is an accessible class for everybody and for everybody. Get 2 blocks or books or just something you can use to get some height. So I'm gonna get started. I'm going to face the side so you can see what we're working with here, but you obviously should be facing me so you can see me. So I'm gonna sit on my block cross-legged. And have you guys heard of tech neck? It's like, cause we're all like leaning forward to look at a screen or leaning down, so we get this muscle behind our neck is stretched too much. We're also getting too much stretch here. So let's just reverse that a bit. You know, nothing's wrong with the neck doing that. That's a normal motion of the neck, but we just do it too much. So let's get some and get the reverse action going. So cradle with your hands, the back of your head, and then just push slightly into your hands with the back of your head. This is not intense at all. It's just a very light activation of the back of the neck. And then you may get a double chin, but I actually want you to take that away. So bring the chin level with the floor so that the crown of the head is reaching to the sky, just to take that double chin out, because the back of the neck actually is supposed to have a slight curve, and leaning forward, it actually gets straightened. So push back, but then raise the chin so that the back of the neck gets a curve in it. And you can stay here, or to just amp it up a bit, use your rhomboids, which is the muscle in between your shoulder blades, to hug your shoulder blades together so that your elbows open. And that might push your head back, push your head forward, so you then have to push back into your head a little bit extra. All the while doing all this, making sure the ribs are not flaring out. So you might be tempted to do this in order to get the elbows out. It's not that. You're still hugging the front ribs down and in, and then just squeeze the shoulder blades together so that the elbows open. You get a little bit more resistance in the back of the head. And here we're activating those muscles at the back of the neck, but also opening the pecs, obviously. And just breathe there for a few seconds, and you can pulse it so you can release it if it gets too intense, and then squeeze the muscles between the shoulder blades to open the elbows, and then come back. Or you can just hold it. Since we're trying to reverse a holding position of leaning forward, we may as well reverse it by holding the opposite position. And then just release. I'll face you again.
Yes, Mrs. We do some mobility. Mobility for every ability. Yes, good girl.
Okay, so, and we're also always facing forward. The neck has muscles on the side of it that help to twist or bend, but that doesn't get a lot of love. So let's give them some love. So cradle your right ear with your right hand by facing the fingers down, so you're cradling the ear from the top like so. And then you want the action of the right ear reaching towards the shoulder, but the hand is stopping it. So you're not moving anywhere. It's the isometric contraction, and just the neck is moving, so you're not leaning the whole torso. Shoulders are still level, and just the action of ear to shoulder, but the hand is resisting it. So your bicep should be flexed. And if you feel the side of your neck here, right, your jugular, that muscle will be flexed. But again, we're not moving anywhere, just breathing. But at the same time, making sure you're getting that lean back of the head, so no tech neck, leaning back, and take away the double chin by just bringing the chin level with the floor, getting that slight arch at the back of the neck, and you can release. See, these are things you can just do while you're still sitting at your desk, just to reverse the action. Okay, next side, so cradle the left ear with the left hand, action of left ear to left shoulder, but left hand is resisting, keeping that left shoulder away from the ear, so keeping it down, and you're not bending the torso. Torso is upright, just action of the neck muscles. You can feel for it, feel for your bicep, And just breathe a couple breaths and then release. Like you're not gonna feel like, it's not gonna burn the muscles, we're not like lifting weights with our neck here. We just want to activate some of the muscles that are stagnant. Now we warm it up, we can stretch it out. So reach away with the right hand, externally rotate the hand, reach it down and slightly behind you. And then, now we can let the left ear lower to the left shoulder, and you can either support it if it's a bit intense or give it a bit more stretch by gently pulling on the top of on the right side of the head. You can look up or look down. That will stretch different part. Ooh, down is great for me. Ooh, that's the money spot, yes. And breathe. And then come back up. I'm just showing you the moves, but again, you can slow it down, spend more time in these postures. YouTube has what do you want? Go the other way. YouTube has a function you can actually slow down the video or speed it up. So if you slow it down, I'll sound like a kidnapper asking for a ransom, and if you speed it up, I sound like a chipmunk. But you know, it's fun. Okay, left hand reaches out to the left, externally rotate down and behind you, and then right ear to right shoulder. You can either support it or help it go deeper. Look up and or down. And release that. Next, we're just going to, let me turn to the side again so you guys can see. So again, rotation, we don't get a lot of rotation. So right hand out to the side, but internally rotate it this time, swoop it down and behind you, and then look over your left shoulder. So don't let the shoulders come. Your chest is still facing this way, and you're just looking over the left shoulder to get a stretch down the right side of the neck and shoulder, and then press into the back of the right hand so that your elbow goes even more out, even more chicken winged, and that should intensify it, while keeping your gaze over the left shoulder. Why don't cats understand closed doors? They're just like, this wasn't closed before. Okay, next side. So, turn to face you, pivot. Left hand up to the side, internally rotate, reach behind. Anchor it there, and then look over the right shoulder. Keep pressing into the back of the left hand so you chicken wing that left elbow even more while keeping your gaze over the right shoulder. This will intensify the stretch down the side of the neck, the left side of the neck. And breathe. Whew. Your girl is tight. Okay, and then unwound. Misses. Be Yancy. Okay. You can come off the block now. Put that to the side. Which side should we put it? Can you watch that for me, Mrs.? Thank you. Just keep an eye on it. That's great. That's great. So we're coming to, y'all can see me, right? Gate pose. So come to kneeling and then stay kneeling on the left leg, but right foot goes out to the side like so. Just make sure the left hip is over the left knee so it's not a split, but don't let the left knee cave in. It's gonna be tough on your IT band. So stack the bones here, and then that right foot is in line with the left knee, and then you can have the foot like parallel with the edge of your mat, or I like to turn it out. And just make sure that big toe mound is still pressing in, so it's not this. Don't let the ankle, be powerful through your ankles, basically. And just going to right arm up, and then lean, but don't reach away. Just lean as much as you can, and just place your hand where it catches you. And here, squeeze your glutes so that your hips go forward. So you get a slight back bend as well as a side bend. Right pinky fingers are facing the floor. And then windmill the arm up. Place the right hand on the right thigh. And then reach up first, more up, and then side lean. Think about the left side ribs going towards the left side wall rather than just hairpinning. Just think about it's more of a round. It's a side rounding rather than a side bending. And then we're going to do 3 rounds of that. So that was 1. So lean to the left, left hand lands, right arm up and overhead, squeeze the glutes. So you get a side bend as well as a slight back bend. Look up, and here we're getting rotational work of that neck, right? Because gravity's wanting us to do this. So if you can look even forward, but if you can look up as well, that's even deeper. Windmill back up to this, and then side round by pushing the left side ribs over to the left. So it's a very active, you're lowering yourself. You're not just like letting gravity take you. You're actually resisting gravity. And then 1 more round. Lean to the left, right arm overhead, squeeze the glutes, lean over and back slightly. Windmill the arm, last one. Reach up first, then left ribs reach to the left, then resist gravity, and then come back to the center.
What's going on, miss? Who Mommy's talking to? Mommy's going crazy. Quarantine has gotten to her.
Okay, so we're on a right knee, left leg is extended. You can externally rotate the left, not extra, just do that with your left foot, and then make sure that right hip is over the right knee. And I'm just going to lean to the right first, right arm swoops overhead, left arm sweeps overhead, left pinky faces the floor, squeeze the glutes, lean back so you get a side bend as well as a back bend. Then windmill the arm, reach up with the right hand first, then right side ribs reach towards the right side wall, and you're bending. I'm sorry you guys can't see my hand. I'm pretty sure you can imagine it. The right pinky is facing the wall, the floor, so you're kind of externally rotating the hand like so. Come back, and so we got 2 more. Squeeze the glutes. You're squeezing the glutes so the hips stay going forward, so you're not sitting back like so. Glutes lift you. And then up and over to the left. Right side ribs go to the right side wall. You can look up again to get those rotational muscles in the neck. And last round, lean to the right, right hand down, left arm overhead, hips forward. And then one more time, left hand to left thigh, reach up and then resist gravity as you arch over to the left. Okay, so I hope your knees are okay because we just have a bit more, one more thing on the knees. If they're not, grab a blanket. Mine are good. I got a carpet and a mat here. So, okay, this one, we kind of did a variation of this on the first class, but there's gonna be an optional to make it a little bit more advanced, but it's not that it looks fancier than it actually is. Just follow my cues. So you're on your knees. We're just gonna do a hands and knees twisting situation. So you're on all fours. Can you see my arm? Perfect. So you're on all fours, press into the left hand, engage your core, lift the right arm up by your ears, and we're just gonna make semicircles with it. So at the bottom here, your palm is facing your bum, and then when it's by the ears, oh, Mrs. is using a litter box now, the palm faces inward. So the hand has to rotate in the shoulder socket in order to get the full range of motion. You see that? If you don't rotate it, it will get stuck and it won't be able to come to your bum. Likewise, if you don't rotate it, it won't be able to go all the way over the head. The shoulder is a ball and socket joint, so it does have to rotate to translate. And just go at your own pace here, not too fast. Maybe don't go any faster than me, but you can go slower for sure. Okay, and then just one more time overhead, and then stop in the middle. So keep it at shoulder height. And then you're not moving the right hand, simply push into the left hand to open the chest to the right while keeping the hips facing the floor. So see how in order to open the chest here, it's not the right elbow going out. The right arm is still just in line with the shoulder, and you're just pushing into the left hand to get that rotation. And you have to engage your core so that the hips don't come along for the ride as well. And now we can release it, so scoop that right arm in between here and then lay down on the shoulder. So don't twist the spine yet. Chest is still facing the floor, and reach the left arm forward. So this is more of a rear delt stretch, so the back of the shoulders, which is basically the muscle that we just worked. So it should be nice and warm and really enjoying this stretch. And you can stay there. Now, option 2, now turn it into a twist. So turn your gaze to look under that left arm and turn the side of your head onto the floor. So, but keep your right hip back. So you're twisting again, you're twisting at the shoulders, but not the hips. Option 2, lift the left hand up. You will have to now press into that right hand in order to lift the left hand up to the sky. Option 2, step the left toes out to the side, so kind of what we were doing before with the gate pose, but you're really light on that left foot. And then option 2, if you can, bring so much weight into the right knee that that left foot lifts. This is fancier than it looks. It's all about weight transfer. If you just put all of your weight over onto the right knee, the left foot will just lift, and then you just have to engage the glute so that it's not hanging down. You can flex or point the foot, do whatever you want. And then bend the left knee, bring it to meet the right knee, so you're in this kneeling position, and then just sit your bum back. Again, just weight transfer will then just stack your bones and you come back up to seated. I know that looked fancy, but like you might have been confused, but if you try it again, it's not that hard. It's very Instagrammable though, so I'll definitely take a snapshot of that as my cover photo. So next side, so coming back to hands and knees. Mrs. is very antsy today. What is your problem, Mrs.? You're gonna get kicked in the head. It's not gonna be my fault. What are you doing back there? Hands and knees, left arm overhead. Really engage your core, hug the belly button to spine, and press into that right hand so that your right shoulder blade protracts, and then just semicircle the left arm. So overhead, palm faces in. So palm faces in at both end ranges, basically. And this is, a rear delt move, as I just explained, but it's also a lot of core, because basically the left shoulder is tipping the weight over to the left, and you have to engage your core so that you don't collapse. I don't remember how many we did on that side, but okay. And then stop in the middle. Again, left arm stays where it is in the left shoulder socket, and you're just pushing into the right hand in order to open the chest to the side, not letting the hips come along for the ride. So hips are square to the floor, chest is opening to the left. And now you can thread that left arm through. First, let's do the rear delt stretch. So hips and shoulders are square to the floor, right arm reaches overhead, and then just let the weight of your torso stretch out that left rear delt So you can stay there, or then start to twist. So look under the right arm, left ear comes to the mat. Option to lift the right arm to the sky. You'll have to bring weight into the left arm, pushing away from the floor. Transfer weight to the left knee, and then option to point the right toes out to the side. Transfer more weight into the left knee, hugging your core until that right foot floats. Engage the right glute to support it. And then bend the right knee, bring it to meet the left knee, sit your bum back, and then just let the weight transfer, and then you come back up to seated on your heels. Isn't that fun? I think so. God damn. There's all this cardboard from their scratcher everywhere. It's just everywhere. Okay, I'll turn back this way. So we're seated on our heels now, and I just want to demonstrate something to you. We're going to come to standing for a little bit and then come back down almost immediately. So place your hands just outside your knees, and then round your lower back like a cat, and then round your upper back like cat, and bring the weight into your hands. So you come off your bum comes off your heels, and then round so much that your knees lift up, and then lower them back down. So see, nothing's wrong with rounding your spine. In fact, it needs to be done. You wouldn't be able to do this if your back was like flat or arched. So that's a normal motion. It's just we get too much of the passive form of it and too much all day, every day. So let's try that again and see if we can come all the way up to standing. So round your back, so hugging your belly button, round your upper back, bring the weight into your hands so bum lifts, and then lift your knees, and then see if you can press, roll over your toes, and we're back to standing. Back to standing, we were never in standing to begin with. And then we're just gonna do a hamstring stretch here. I just want to demonstrate to you that this is not doing anything for me because I have loose hamstrings and long arms. Just because you can touch the floor doesn't mean your hamstrings are being stretched, right? If your anatomy allows you to do so. To stretch the hamstrings, you have to close this hip crease, right? So touching the floor has nothing to do with that. So I'd rather you bend your knees, close that crease and get your ribs to your thighs, and then just hang out there. So bend your knees as much as you need to in order to get those ribs on the thighs. And then stay there. And then you can work to straighten the knees, but only so much as the ribs stay on the side. So you can even maybe hold on to the backs of the calves so that they stay there. And then only straighten as much as you can keep that hip hinge. You can even pulse it a bit. And make sure you have equal weight through the feet. So there's a point where you have so much weight in the heels that you can lift the balls of the foot. That's not right. And there's a point where there's so much weight in the balls of the feet that the heels can lift. We don't want that right now. So there's a point where you couldn't lift either the balls or the heels. That's what we want right now. And then just let the head go. So if your head is hanging out and hanging down, you can look straight behind you, or to get that curve in the neck that I said was actually healthy, you can then, as your body's hanging down, just look towards your heels, like in between your feet. Just again to get a mild activation of those extensor muscles that normally help the neck to get that healthy arch. And let the head go. Then heel toe your feet, mat width apart, and then just squat down. Okay, I'll face you again. So you can sit on the block if you want, but ideally I would like to, did I teach you guys how to really power up your low squat like this in order to get it? Because if you're, basically we fall backwards, right? That's the number one thing preventing us from just sitting here without the block. You gotta flex your ankle. So almost think about doing that, but your foot is planted. And then think about a hamstring curl as well. So You're bringing your hamstrings to rest onto here, but actively. And then that will sort of bring your weight forward. So you'll feel more weight in the balls of your feet and you'll be able to stay upright. You can even then, if your knees are wide, hook the arms in here a little bit just so you know, you're not falling back. You get a little bit of that forward momentum. And so you'll be able to stay here. And this is so good for those ankles. Like we don't get a lot of this ankle flexion. We don't get a lot of anything in the feet really. We wear shoes and we sit a lot, so. And if you're getting tired, you can then sit up on the block, but over time, like this will become easy for you. Like I feel a little bit of warmth in the ankle, but it's good. And I can definitely sit here, read a book or something. Okay, then we're just gonna take it into a modification of this. So maybe I'll turn. So you're bringing the toes together and you will be on the balls of the feet now. And you're gonna reach forwards and the hip goes back, but I don't want this to happen to the toes. Keep pressing into the balls of the feet, like the big toe mounds. Just like when we were doing the gate pose and I said, don't let the balls of the feet come up. Keep pressing into that as the knees open. So hips go back and then you reach forward. So as much as the hips go back, you can reach forward and don't let those big toes come up off the floor. Even the big toe, the ball of the foot near the big toe, keep pressing that in. And here again, we're letting the spine round, right? Especially that lumbar spine, the lower back. I knew the dishwasher would start beeping. Oh my god. Okay, you guys stay there for a few breaths. I'm just gonna turn this thing off. Thank you. This is real life, okay? This is real life. This is an actual apartment. I don't have a filming studio and a camera person and a crew and an editor. It's all just me. It's all just me and my cats. Okay. And then come out when you're good and ready. We're just gonna do one. What do you want? I'm not opening the door right now, I'm filming. And you don't want people to see how messy your bedroom is, do you? So, one more thing before Shavasana. So you're opening your seated, opening your legs wide, but not like a split, like just basically a 90-degree angle. You can use the block for that, or a little wider, but we're not trying to do middle splits here. We're trying to do something else. I shows. So, rotate to the left as if you want to lean over the right foot, and internally point the right toes and internally rotate them, and try and get the side of the foot to touch the mat like so, without externally rotating this foot. So these toes stay pointing up and these toes are trying to point to the floor. It's harder than it looks. Your toes might not reach the floor, and don't cheat by sickling the ankle so this bone stays straight. You're trying to get the whole inner line of the leg to rotate, and then the foot is just symmetric, while keeping that other foot straight, so not externally rotating it. It's a very telling thing. So it doesn't matter if you touch the floor or not, or where you get. What I want you to realize is the difference. For me, leaning to the right is very easy, like this. This is fine, the left toes can touch, but my right, this side, oh, I really have to effort it. And the first time I did this, it wouldn't, like my toes wouldn't touch. So that is my right hip flexor and my right inner thighs, the adductors, are pretty tight compared to the other side. And it's that imbalance that can cause a lot of pain and dysfunction. You guys keep alternating slowly. That can cause a lot of pain and dysfunction, right? It's not necessarily muscle weakness overall, it's imbalances. So doing a lot of these unilateral stretches and exercises is just telling, and it can show you what needs work. And then do so, right? Like if you know that one bicep is stronger than the other, then do a couple more sets with the weaker bicep, right? So same thing with stretching. I'm going to spend a bit more time on this side that's a bit tighter. So you guys can do the same. If you have a tighter side, just spend more time there. Because yeah, once that imbalance exists, it will perpetuate and it will compound, right? This side's going to keep getting tighter and tighter, and this side's going to keep getting looser and looser, because that's the distribution of work they've decided for themselves. But you got to be the manager, right? You got to manage your muscles and give them equal tasks. Okay, so then we'll finish in Shavasana. You guys can just lay down in Shavasana if you want, but I'll just show you how I like to utilize a block to get into those hip flexors a bit more while I'm in Shavasana. So lay down on your back, push into your feet, come up to a bridge, and just place the block either on the lowest height or the highest, not the highest, the middle height. The middle height is the highest I would go, but I think for the purpose of Shavasana, the lowest height is good. And place it on your sacrum so that when you extend your legs, your pubic bone is the highest point. So if you have it too high up the back, not only will it hurt, but you will have an arch and your hip bones will be higher than your pubic bone. You want it down sort of half on the sacrum, which is that flat bone at the base of your spine, and half like on the top of the fleshy part of your bone, so that your pubic bone is the highest. And then you'll feel it, like you'll feel those hip flexors opening. The hip flexor goes like from the upper thigh, and then it threads in between your pubic bone and those frontal hip bones, so right there. And then it goes through your internal organs, and then it attaches to your low back, like your actual lumbar spine. So it's a very unique muscle in that it crosses so many joints, it goes through your organs, and it attaches to your actual spine. So it's called a hip flexor, but it really can cause a lot of lower back pain if it's tight, right? And yeah, it's hard to massage, like get in there with like foam roller or even massage balls, because how do you massage the part of it that's going through your abdomen, like through your internal organs? It's like you gotta give yourself like an ovary massage or something, which you can here now that they're open. I kind of just press my thumbs along the insides of my hip bones here, if you would like to do that as well. And yeah, you can just chill out in Shavasana. Mrs., come here, I'm gonna tell everybody a story about you. So you can just mute me or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you guys the story of how I met little Mrs., because it's a feel-good story, so it'll feel good while you're in Shavasana. So it was like Christmas Eve, December 23rd, and I was working at a vet clinic, and they work with the rescue called Annex Cat Rescue, and a trapper had brought in a little kitten that they had trapped, and all I saw was the trap, and it's covered in a blanket. And then I lifted the blanket, and I saw this cute little cotton ball with the stinkiest eyes and the cutest little mew, and I was just like, oh my god. And then I was helping the technician to like treat her, like give her initial like once over, and we took her out, and she hissed a bit, but she really didn't put up much of a fight. She was glad to be inside, but the poor little thing, like she looked like a little fluff ball, but underneath it, when you held her, you could feel her bones. You could feel fleas crawling on her. It was so tragic and so sad. So we gave her some flea medicine, you know, brushed her a little bit to get the dirt off. But then the technician told me that she was just gonna be there at the clinic alone for a couple of days because it was Christmas. And someone would come in and feed her, but I was just like, that's not happening. I was like, I'm gonna foster her. And at the time I had like 4 cats already, like my cats, and I was already fostering, but I was like, no, she's not spending Christmas by herself. As if she knew what the hell Christmas was. So yeah, we called the foster coordinator, and they were very happy to hear that I wanted to foster her and take her home. And they said, yeah, of course. So put her in a carrier and we were on the streetcar, and then I called my boyfriend at the time and was telling him this story about this adorable cat who needed a foster home, and he was just like, no, like we can't. We already have 5 cats right now. And I was like, oh, no, Hunty. I wasn't calling to ask you. I was calling to inform you. We are on the streetcar and on our way home, and the clinic is closed and I'm not turning back. And then we got home and he saw her and he fell in love with her, so, because she's lovable. So that's the end of the story. And the moral of the story is sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And then with that, I will leave you to just fall asleep on your yoga mat, go hug your dog and cat, and show them you love them, because they're lucky to have you, but you are also lucky to have them. Peace out. Love you. Bye.